When faced with challenges of medical diagnoses, people often weigh the pros and cons of treatment. For Ilan Ganot, a former JPM banker, choosing between life and death wasn't an option. The answer was to always fight for life, not for his own, but for his 2-year-old sons. Ilan joins me now to talk about a rare disease that he's pledged to stop at nothing to overcome. Ilan, welcome. Thanks so much for being here.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
So your son, Etani, was diagnosed with Duchenne Muscular dystrophy. It's a really rare form of the disease. And you quit your job at JPM to devote your life, basically, to finding a treatment for your son. Talk to me about, you started your own company in order to do this. Talk to me about what your company does and how you're working to combat this.
Our purpose and the reason we exist is to accelerate drugs that treat Duchenne Muscular dystrophy. It's a terrible disease that affects many, many young boys and have currently no really good therapeutics targeted at that disease that these guys can take, except steroids that have lots of side effects too. And we are in the process of getting in the middle into that process and hopefully identifying and pushing through quite a few promising drugs closer to the clinic, closer to the patients, and helping them like that way.
Your goal, one of them I read, is to bridge the gap known as the Valley of Death. So it's taking all of these drugs, for all these specialized diseases and trying to get them picked up by larger pharmaceutical companies. How are you doing that?
Valley of Death represents a problem, and we are trying to solve it for this disease by doing that work, doing that analysis, identifying which programs have the best potential of success in this disease, de-risking them, investing in more animal work, more lab work, and probably some patient work, and demonstrate to the bigger company, here's something you can get excited about, can turn into a real drug.
JPM was actually very supportive when you decided to leave.
Yes.
And they're one of your investors now. So talk to me about what it's kind of like to work on the opposite side that you were working with.
JPM were fantastic in this process. I mean, it's a big company, and I'm sure what happened to me happens to many employees in a company with this many people working in. But my managers were extremely supportive. They said, take your time, do what you need to do. And I sort of took it literally, and I really took my time and ended up leaving the company, starting a company, and showing them that it's a great idea to become involved and invest. And they did.
So you've raised up to this point about $17 million, and helping your son is a personal goal for you. But what is your elevator pitch, kind of? How do you get Wall Street investors interested?
Helping my son is the catalyst. If it wasn't for his diagnosis, we wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't be doing this. I'd be living in London happy as a banker. But he did get diagnosed, and as a result, I got to spend a year understanding all the ins and outs of this disease, the ecosystem, the drug companies, the universities, etc. That led to the company formation as a commercial entity that is targeted at only one disease, has a lot of benefit from being condition-focused, outstanding access to patients, to scientists, to universities, to companies, to bigger companies, small companies. We really believe that our ability to have an impact on this disease is unique, unrivaled maybe. And really that's the investment case.
So what's the next step for you? What are you kind of working on?
Over the next few months, we expect to announce both strategic partnerships with the industry. There are a number of much larger pharmaceutical companies who are interested in what we're doing in this disease, who believe that maybe with us they can identify the future therapeutics here, and then why not come with us early and be friends and work together.
Right.
And they have capabilities that we cannot build, and we have expertise, passion, and the ability to be very agile and aggressive that maybe they don't. So there's a really nice fit here, and we expect to announce hopefully a couple of those. At the same time, most of the work we're doing is on understanding the science, identifying the best program, scientists, and plugging ourselves into that gap to make drugs.
So how do you separate yourself, your business self, from kind of your personal self? Sometimes the motivations are a little bit different. So is that difficult?
So first of all, I personally don't. I mean, this is my life, and it's my son, and it's my family, and it's my business, and I think my investors respect the fact that that would make me into a better businessman for their capital.
Right.
And hopefully, the kind of motivation that I have, it's not easy to buy.
Yeah.
At the same time, we've put in place very serious mechanisms in the company that it's not just me making decisions. There's a board, all the investors are represented, and they're all professional people. And should there be a matter of conflict of interest, Gilad, my partner, will put his hand on my shoulder and say, Ilan, go home, and they'll do it without me. And I think everybody understands that, and I understand it. And there might be a moment when that happens, but most of the moments, I think this passion would translate into better chance of success.
They're able to kind of drive each other. Both of your two lives kind of come together.
I think it's I'm at a point where I chose to spend the rest of my life doing this because I think we are going to be successful. I'm sure we're going to change his path and probably help all the boys.
That's awesome. How do you leverage your skills then as a banker, now kind of working in the pharmaceutical space?
I don't know. I feel like in life, it's all about people. It's all about who you work with and how you motivate them and how everybody works together to deliver the goal. And that's something I'm pretty good at. I've surrounded myself with brilliant scientists. The chairman of the board, Andrei Zaruri, is an outstanding drug developer, teaches at MIT, and has a big VC background. We just hired the smartest guy out of Harvard with a PhD in this disease, Joel Schneider, who's right now at a conference in Chicago representing Solid.
Wow.
We have an amazing advisory board of all the biggest scientists in this disease that want to help us and don't expect anything for it except the chance to be involved in an operation that would solve this disease.
Yeah.
So I think it's my time, passion, Rolodex, and ability to mobilize things and get results.
It's all played together. So how's your son doing then?
Thank you. He's doing good. He's got a big problem, which in a disease like this will only get bigger with time. And we're going to have to intersect and change that. And, depends on when we step in and what kind of a tool we step in with. And many other people are working on drugs that hopefully will change, his path and all the other boys with Duchenne. He's a happy, sweet, almost 4-year-old, going to preschool, playing with his sisters. He's great.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. Well, we wish you all the best of luck, and we'll definitely continue to follow your success and your company's success. Ilan Ganot, founder of Solid Ventures, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much.